Good evening, race fans, and welcome to PSGL's round 5 of season 32. This is PSF4. My name is Webbo, here to bring you tonight's action in place of Brendan, and it's time for round 5. We're going to Monaco. Can you believe it? Fantastic racetrack, fantastic night's racing planned ahead of us. We've had a few connection problems tonight for the host, so hopefully we'll be stable and ready to go tonight. Or the game might decide to transfer the host. Well, let's see what happens. Let's take you through the current driver standings after only, of course, 4 rounds of the championship. The departed and promoted Kian still leads the championship with 2 wins on 39 points, but Robbie is fighting on with a win in the last round and a win in round 2. He's on 32 points. Next up, we have a long list of drivers who all have separate podiums, not a podium in common. We've got the single second place scoring Jeroen on 24 points. Joint 4th place is Trust Twist and Armata, both on 18. Then we've got Fleddy on 16. Joint 7th place, we've got Kilcree and Snipes, and then bringing up the rear of the top 10, Med TC and Smalley Balls there on 12 points. All of those have shared a podium. One more podium for Marcel in 12th place, but hopefully we'll be underway for you very shortly here for qualifying around this historic and beautiful circuit. Good evening. If you're joining us to cheer on one of your teammates or one of your favourite drivers, family members, friends, good evening to Bruno, who's already said Forza Didi. So do let me know which name that one actually is for Didi. Like I say, this is Webbo in for Brendan tonight, who couldn't be here, so I'm trying to help out as best I can. So forgive me if I get any of the drivers' names pronounced incorrectly. If I do, then say so. I'm more than happy to be corrected. Robbie is the first car out on track, and he's the leading driver in the championship, currently still in this championship, of course, with the promotion of the erstwhile and current leader. In the constructors' the constructors' standings right now. I can take you through that in just a second. Currently, Aston Martin lead on 71 points with 3 wins between them. Then come Alpine on 36, Red Bull on 28, having won the last round. Then Alfa Romeo, Haas, Alfa Tauri, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren and Williams. Every team has scored points so far in our championship here at PSF4. So on track, Robbie just weaving the car to warm up. It's a difficult track to warm up the car in because it's so narrow here with the barriers either side, but we're going to go down now and join Robbie for the first attack lap. The track will be a little bit greasy as we head the braking zone into Sandavot. Careful not to invalidate across the curb, careful not to hit the barrier on the exit, and then it's just the straightest possible line through Beau Rivage and now into Massenet. Use the gear changes, bring the car into the apex before heading through Casino, touch on the curb, touch on the outside barrier if you're feeling brave, before diving down into the gully of Mirabeau. We go then next down into the Grand Hotel hairpin. Full lock, of course, for the car that only just makes it round. Next we go through Mirabeau Bus and Portier. Out then through the tunnel, of course, before looking for our braking point down for the Nouvelle chicane, turn 10. Try to miss all the barriers on the inside and outside. Next up, Tabac, lightning quick corner, very difficult to go side by side before Louis Chiron, and then the Piscine, hopping over that curb, flirting with danger, obviously right on it into Raskas for the final 2 corners of the lap. Anthony Nogue is all done and dusted. DRS is open, and we go to cross the line with Robbie on board a 109.972, the first flying lap on the car. We've got a medium tyres on the car then for Lickle and for Trust. They will probably not be hyper competitive on those tyres. We've got the Elite Racing Team's Samba has gone 110.7. Jeroen and Simon have each got a 110.5. as we ride on board Little Blocks and see, as he's finishing off the lap now, what kind of a time can he manage to secure here. Thank you for that for Bruno telling me it's Diogo Silva the Mercedes driver that he's cheering on. Do let me know if you're here for a driver in particular. 111.357 for our host, Little Blocks. We've got Lewis here in the Ferrari. Seems to be ghosted in and out, so possibly some connection issues here for Lewis. Opening up the DRS then, coming out of Anthony Nose. Fleddy's got on 111.3. Lewis goes P7 at 110.788 as we look down for Kilcree, who is just starting his flying lap, it seems. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. He's done a charge lap. He's ready to go. Robbie still holds the fastest time of 109.972. No other driver in the 109s just yet. This Ferrari in the way of Kilcree is going to cause problems, and he just about gets out the way. Very professionally done there before Kilcree gets into the hairpin. Then into the Portier corner, which you can't see, but the coast is just on the outside of that corner. Although they are building a new man-made island there, so it won't be for long. Down into the Nouvelle chicane we go. A little bit of a hint of a weave on the way into the Nouvelle chicane before throwing the car into Tabac. Believe that the car will understeer in, likewise into Piscine, but we just touched the inside edge of the Armco. It's all out of shape. Then into Rascasse, and that's how easy it is to get it wrong. Kilcree struggling, and then the Ferrari that so helpfully got out of his way looks to be Matteo, and he's about to let rip and go for another one. Heading then down to the first corner, Santavot. Looks like we are playing with the throttle a little bit here on board Matteo. He's got a 112.273. I thought that wasn't his attempt at a fast lap, but maybe it was. Belbelby then in the McLaren next up. Good evening. If you are just joining us, you can always rewind the stream in a quiet moment to find the current standings, but it's only round 5, so all to play for, especially as our championship leader has departed for F3 in a promotion. Trust Belby very close to that wall on the right hand side for the McLaren as he posts a P9 110.796. It's very close indeed. No other driver than Robbie has got a 109 yet on the board as we go for Trust Edrex. Then next up, using the downshifts on the car. Slight hesitation there with the driver in the way. Traffic is going to be a nightmare at the end of the session, so the first laps that you do are all important here. The Mercedes is, oh, that was terrible from the AlphaTauri in front. Not quite sure which driver that was, but right in the way of Edrex. Little he could have done, but he did sort of come out of the throttle too early for Edrex to get over to the left hand side ahead of Mirabeau Bass and Portier. Down then into the Nouvelle chicane we go again. Picked up that turning point. That's going to be an invalidation all day long, unfortunately. A little bit unsettled there on the car as we ride then with Teddo. Looks to be on a push lap here, certainly stamping on the brakes into the Nouvelle chicane. Using fourth gear then through to back, and Louis Charon. We actually go round the swimming pool, the piscine there, but you don't see it from the car perspective. Into Rascasse, looks like a nice and tidy line into Rascasse. Might even get a little tow from his teammate here. The AlphaTauri in front has the DRS open. We've got the DRS open on board Teddo, and he goes up to P11 at 111.1. So most of the initial laps all done with now. Edrex, his next lap is underway. I've got Medsport on a lap as well, it seems. He was the other AlphaTauri that we saw giving the tow to his teammate Teddo. An apology coming in from Kilcree for Matteo there. So Kilcree just messing up Matteo's lap and putting an apology straight away. That's very sporting of him. Excellent to see. Oh, heavy down on the throttle, and Edrex out of shape through Nouvelle chicane again. So is Medrex. Kilcree is going for it now. He's just started his next flying lap. We'll join him. As a yellow flag on the circuit. Won't bother Kilcree though. He'll just be full send on this lap now. 9.5 minutes to go before the checkered flag in qualifying. Current order: Robbie, Keke, Smalley Balls, Simon, LRB, Giroux, Matteo, Samba, Lewis and Belbelby, your top 10. I think Kilcree might be trying to sneak his way into that top 10, if at all possible. Riding the curb high before heading into Portier. Got to be neat and tidy through Portier. There's no margin for error on the in or outside of that corner. Through the tunnel. Not much time to look at your sector time, though, because you're back on the brakes very soon, very quickly indeed. Heading towards Tunetank now. Millimetre perfect from Kilcree. There is his sector time of 52.2. Massive chunk of apex coming out of the piscine, the swimming pool, before, a bit of oversteer through Raskas, a little bit of overspeed perhaps, wrestled it round before putting the throttle down. That cost him a few tenths, not a lot, 110.4, 254 Kilcree, and the early laps are done with his teammate Snipes down in 18th position, might be on a lap himself. Let's go have a look at Snipes, shall we? No, he's managed to invalidate this lap. Some outlaps beginning for other drivers as well. Snipes getting a little bit close to the slowing driver there behind him. If you're late to the stream tonight, this is Webbo in place of Brendan tonight, and do let me know who you're here to support. Always good to know what you're watching, who you're watching for, what you're seeing as well. I've only got one pair of eyes, so do shout out if you see something noteworthy. Coming out of the corner there in 4th gear through the tunnel, back down on the throttle. You don't really ever reach top speed around here, around Monaco, especially as you can't adjust those gear ratios. You are stuck. Another well-ridden piscine exit of the corner. Raskas understeer on the second part of Raskas. Little bit of early turn-in from into Anthony Noakes though. Snipes across the line in P9, right with his teammate, but will join Samba, who is right on the front row. We haven't watched with Samba yet, but he is very close indeed. But although on this lap, 1.3 seconds away from his fastest, this could be a charge lap. It could well be that he's not really gunning for it. But a similar problem there for LRB, having a problem. But Smalley Balls on a 109.9, the second driver, third driver into the 109s on a 109.907. And my word, are the margins getting tight. Here is Keke coming through out of Portier, through the tunnel, down the hill. Difficult braking point here. He's got some good turn in to the Nouvelle chicane. Could have done with a slightly tighter line on the right hand side though. Tunetank. Now the swimming pool on the way out, brushing the wall, or at least getting very close to it. Through Anthony Noakes, then DRS open, looking for a nice straight line, hugging the right hand side of the racetrack. Keke goes into the 109s, a 109.986, 2 thousandths away from P3, but settles into P4 at this stage. Pit stops for Robbie and Samba. No sign that they're going any quicker, but Twist is going quicker. He's up to 6th in the Aston Martin. We've got his teammate across race team, not constructors here. Just behind him, Edrex in the Mercedes. How does his sector time look? He's slower on this lap. Let's see about Simon then. He'll get an update after Tunetank, this left-hander. How's the lap looking? He's a quarter of a second to the good. He's got a purple middle sector as well. Looking very strong in the Haas here is Simon for the Team Shazoo. As we go round the Raskas. Good line into Anthony Noakes. Very nicely done early on the power then. And across the line into P5, a 109.988. And we have 4 thousandths of a second separating 3 drivers on our circuit right now. It's so unbelievably close as Twist tries again through the swimming pool. Big hop off the throttle completely, temporarily there. That was less than good, and he's gone straight into the pits. Brushes the pit wall, in fact, on his way through. Lickle Blocks has invalidated this one, despite getting a purple sector there on the board. So has Tedo invalidated, and Fleddy. What about Medsport? Medsport, we haven't seen him just yet. Smalley Balls still on top though at 109.907 as Robbie is the next one out there. Let's see, whereabouts is Robbie on track? He's just behind Medsport on circuit actually. So we've passed our first sector, didn't get an update on that one. Very close, the car very unsettled over the entry curb. Took a little bit of catching on the exit for Robbie. He was quick, he was the first one on track, so he should be able to improve because he'll be benefiting from the greatest amount of track evolution. Just under 4 minutes to go before the checkered flag. This could be Robbie's last clear lap. It's a difficult pit lane to get the car turned around. A little clatter onto the wall, skips over the apex and invalidates again, unfortunately for Robbie, as Medsport's gone into the pits as well. Still to log a time, Amwoy and Medsport, but Amwoy has retired from the session, so we're looking for a driver. We've got Diogo Silva, whose fan Bruno is here to watch. So Bruno, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. There's Diogo Silva, unable to get into the Nouvelle chicane, but no dramas, it's only an outlap. He's a little bit offset from the majority of the drivers. You can see the outlaps beginning now for the final runs. Diogo needs to find some better lines than he's managed on his warm-up lap. Here we go then, a little bit tardy, a little bit oversteery on the way out of Anthony Noakes. The final corner, Diogo Silva goes 4/10 faster than his previous outlap, I believe. And now we're really into the hot stuff as we head up the hill, up the Beau Rivage towards Massenet. And it's after Massenet and then the Casino corner that we will get an update, but it's 500ths faster. That's all from a 110.8. Samba's on the track as well. Where is Samba? Let me just quickly flick to Samba and see where he is. He's about to start his next lap, so we will watch Diogo through his second sector as he gets a bit of a tow from the back of the car in front. Down we go into the Nouvelle chicane. Good braking performance that time. And then into Tabac. How does this lap continue to look? He's a quarter of a second faster than he's been before, but this AlphaTauri is completely in his way. And that is end of front wing, end of fast lap from Diogo. He'll be furious about that, I imagine, because there's no time to turn the car around now, and he's lost a bit of front wing running into the back of the car in front. Here is Samba then. Let's focus on the cars that are in operation. We've got outlaps for the top two. Samba currently P3, very wide, clatters the barrier with the rear tyre on the way through. Unfortunately, that one's not going to be special for him, as Robbie about to take on his next one. He's giving a little bit of room in front of him because he knows the car in front is also on a fast lap, so pacing himself there, making sure that he's not going to run into another car as Edrex retires. Edrex from 10th, won't go quicker than that. Won't be beaten in qualifying tonight. That's the highest he'll start as we go up the hill with Robbie. Looking good, maybe slightly too pointy on the front end at this stage. Maybe that's a calculation in setup into Massenet. We get a 7,000th of a second improvement. Sorry, 700ths of a second improvement, which is enough to see him on pole position. It's that close. Out of Portier we go. Robbie looking for a good turning point here. The car in front, not entirely clear whether he's stopping to let him by. Again, a little bit fast, a little bit wide as Kilcree gets the fastest time quickly. 109.709, 2/10 faster than anybody else so far. Robbie across the sectors. He's got a purple sector 2. Through Rascasse we go. The finest of margins to the wall here. Out of the Anthony Noakes corner for Robbie. This could put him back on top. Will he be back in the front? Yes, indeed he will. 109.648 with a new fastest lap as the track is getting quicker and quicker, and so are the drivers. Smalley Balls then across the next sector, 200ths faster just for him. It's mighty tight. Crossed up on the way out of the swimming pool. That's the lap done and dusted. He's not going quicker on this lap. He's going to get off the track for the sake of everybody else. All the final laps are underway now as Simon won't get round in time and he's going to park the car up, unfortunately for him. Jeroen goes P3. A last gasp run there for Jeroen. Here comes Twist in the Aston Martin. It looks like it's going to be Robbie all the way. Twist from 10th on to the top of the tree. It's the top of the standings. It's provisional pole for Twist. A 109.557 from 10th place on the grid. It is so tight, so exciting, furious lap times coming in. It's an all Aston Martin front row at the moment. Can Matteo do anything? He's into P4 on a 109.769, leaving the laps to the very dying embers of the session. Matteo in 4th place. Lewis up to P8. Samba demoted to P9. But what a sequence there from the drivers. There is Twist, who manages the fastest time on the board, a 109.557. What a qualifying. Brilliant stuff from our F4 drivers. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope your mouth is watering ahead of the race. Can't wait for this one. Good evening to Cookie as well. But here is your grid for the race. It is Twist on top, the Frenchman in the Aston Martin, with his teammate alongside Robbie, the Hungarian, in 2nd place, beaten to that pole by 92 thousandths of a second. Kilcree in 3rd. Next comes Matteo, Jeroen, Smalley Balls, Snipes, Lewis, Samba and Keke in the top 10. Then, with a very busy French grid, we've got Simon in 11th, LRB is in 12th, Edrex in 13th. We have Lickle in 14th, Fleddy in 15th. Down near the back then, the 2 Portuguese drivers, Belby and Diogo Silva, with Tedo, Amwoy and Medsport making up your 20 car grid for the Monaco Grand Prix, which will be underway for you very soon indeed. If you are a regular viewer, please let me know if we have a formation lap or not. I'm afraid I have not seen the rules for this season, unfortunately. A little bit late call to the party here tonight for me. We'll just wait that customary few seconds then for the drivers to select their strategies and get themselves on board. LRB calling out Tedo for a bit of a block potentially in qualifying. You have to feel. Let me have your predictions for the race. If you've got a podium prediction, let me know the top 3 in the right order. If you like the commentary tonight, my name is Webbo. You can find me on socials and on YouTube at WebboRed5, all one word. And just sitting in here tonight in place of Brendan, who's away. Cookie says, go Samba. Excellent stuff. As we count down the timer for the start of our round 5 here. Only 2 different winners so far. Will this one see a 3rd winner of the season? I have to say, I hope so, as a neutral. I like to see lots of winners. We've had lots of podiums throughout the grid so far. Much of the top 8 or 9 drivers have had a podium so far. But just waiting then for the final time. No formation lap. We're going to be underway straight away for you. It's time to go, and it's time to drop the clutch and go away from the start. It's Twist on the inside, Robbie on the outside, as they will consolidate those positions. Robbie going for it round the outside. A nice clean move round the outside for Robbie. He takes P1 ahead of Twist, and then Kilcree in 3rd. Matteo has held on to 4th with the 2 Alpines of Jeroen and Smalley Balls in 5th and 6th respectively. There look to be a little bit of action in the background there, but focusing on the front of the circuit. Down into the hairpin we go. Trust Twist down into the hairpin in 2nd position behind Robbie, as we see a little bit of side by side, but mostly it is single file through there. Nice and safe for the drivers, as we'll look for position change so far. Up 2 Samba, up 2 Belby and Tedo, down 3 Lickle, and then just a small amount of place changes through the grid here as we go down into the Nouvelle chicane. Anybody feeling brave enough to have a go? Not quite. At the towards the halfway point of our first lap, it's still Robbie in the front then, as he heads into the swimming pool section, comes out into Raskas just ahead of Twist. Twist with crossed up on the way out of Raskas. That's cost him time. That means Robbie has got a near 2-second gap to the car in front. This is going to be an endurance challenge for the drivers in terms of their focus and abilities, and Twist already getting a little bit loose on the surface. We'll have a look at the tyre strategies. That probably explains why Robbie got ahead of Twist. He's streaking off into the distance while those fresh mediums are at their absolute pinnacle of performance versus the brand new cold hard tyres that he will have to wear later on. But so far so good for Robbie. Hard tyres for many of the drivers here. Twist, Kilcree, Jeroen, Smallyball, Samba, Snipes, Lewis, Edrex, Belby and Medsport at the back in the pits. Pitting already is Medsport, but so far we have managed to get all of our drivers through this first lap cleanly. Everybody's still participating. We've got 20 drivers here for you tonight as Twist defends from Kilcree, who could well do with getting ahead of him because he's got Matteo pinned right to his tail. Matteo on the medium tyres, can't wait to get ahead here of Kilcree as we wait to see how much of a gap Robbie can manage.